everyone, so today is my second favorites of 2015 video. My first one went up on Monday, which I will link down below, and it was my favorite drugstore and affordable products of 2015. Today is my favorite high-end luxury branded makeup products and stuff. So I'm just gonna dive straight in. As you can see, there is a bunch of stuff again. If you want to see the tutorial for this look, I will link it down below, and my lip color is different. It is Creature by Colourpop. So this first product I should have probably put in Friday's video, but YOLO. This is the Cinema Secrets Pro Cosmetics Brush Cleaner. Basically, this has just been my savior this year. It is so good, especially for smaller brushes like eye brushes and lip brushes. Basically, it is a instant brush cleaner, so you don't have to wash them. You just swirl your brush in a little bit of this, and then you wipe it on a towel, and your brush dries within like minutes, and it's ready to use, and it's sanitized and bacteria free. This stuff is amazing, so I thought I would mention this. Next up, I have a primer water. This is the Smashbox primer water. I have been obsessed with this ever since I got it. It just makes my skin feel so good, and it makes my makeup go on so flawlessly. I usually pair this up with a like creamy primer as well. I was kind of skeptical at first. It is worth it. I really like it. It just, I don't know, it just makes a difference. I don't even know how to describe it. It's one of those things you've just got to try for yourself. For primers, I actually have 3, which is a bit crazy, but I don't know, I just love primers. You've seen this one so many times in my tutorials. This is the Bare Minerals Prime Time Neutralizing Primer. And basically this primer is just a yellow primer. It's just a really nice yellowy color, which is good for people like me that have redness to their skin. It helps to counteract the redness and make my foundation go on a lot more flawlessly. And it's also kind of tacky, so it really holds down my foundation and makes it last a really long time. You've also seen this one a butt ton of my videos. This is the Stila One Step Correct Primer. It's so silky smooth. Basically, it's got 3 different colors to color correct your skin. So once you pump it out, all of the colors kind of mix together. It's not as good at covering redness as this one, but it still evens out my skin tone so much. I even wear this alone sometimes when I'm not wearing makeup, and it's just so brightening. If you love that brightening kind of effect, again, it makes my makeup glide on so smoothly because it almost creates like a barrier on my skin, like smooths my pores and everything, and then my foundation just goes on so flawlessly on top of it. And then the third one is newer to me. Like, I've only had this for a few months, but I really like it. This is the Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizer. Basically, I've never been the biggest fan of like pore filling primers because they've always felt too thick and heavy on my face, but this one is so nice. I talked about that other one in my drugstore video, which I really like for a drugstore version. This one's a little bit better probably for like oilier skin. It's not as moisturizing. It literally makes my foundation go on like amazing, flawless. You cannot see any like wrinkles or lines or pores or anything when I use this. Obviously I don't have deeply wrinkled skin, so I'm not sure how it would perform on someone that's like got aged skin or anything, but on me it just really makes everything look so flawless. And sometimes I'll like double up my primers and use this all over, and then I'll just use this one like over my nose, and if I've got any bumpy kind of pores or anything on my chin like from breakouts or anything, I love it. For my foundation, I was able to narrow it down to 1. Loads of you will guess it. It is the NARS Sheer Glow Foundation in Punjab. It's just such a great formula. It just looks flawless every single time I wear it. It is my trusty foundation. Like, if I don't know which foundation I want to wear that day, it always looks good no matter what I'm feeling, you know? I can always rely on it. It's just my go-to. I have a primer, and I'm mentioning this now because I also use it as a concealer primer sometimes. This is the Benefit Stay Don't Stray primer, and basically it's tinted. You can even use this as a concealer, like it's such good coverage. It looks like that, and basically you use it before your eyeshadows or before your concealer, and it stops creasing, and it makes everything brighter and, you know, just last all day. For under eye concealer, I loved this. This like changed my life this year. This is the Naked Skin Concealer by Urban Decay. It is such good coverage. It's so blendable. It's so smooth. It doesn't sink into any fine lines. It's such a beautiful color. I use the shade Light Neutral under my eyes. I want to get some more shades of this though for like when I'm fair, like when I have no fake tan on. It is so good. I don't know what it is about it. It's just such a beautiful formula, and it just meshes so well with my skin. And I like the little applicator as well. It's so easy to use. And then the other concealer I have here is a different kind of purpose, I guess. This is the Essential Skin Enhancer by Kevin Aquan. I use this more on my face, so if I have any breakouts or redness, I use this to conceal on my actual face skin. It is the most pigmented stuff there is. I've had this for like 2 or 3 years, and as you can see, I've barely touched it. I just can't even explain how like opaque it is. You can also mix it with moisturizers and primers to create a foundation like for all over your face. It's just such a good product. It's really pricey, but it's 100% worth the money because it lasts you forever. Like, I don't think I'll ever finish this before it goes off. I have a couple of pressed powders to mention. The MAC Studio Fix pressed powder and the Cover FX pressed powder. I am showing you both of these because they're basically the same. So for those of you watching, you want to try one, just go for the cheaper one. I'm not sure off the top of my head which one is cheaper, but they basically work the exact same. And even though they are like a full coverage powder, I can still put them on top of like a full coverage liquid foundation, and my foundation never goes cakey or anything. They are magical and they just make my skin look so flawless, and they last forever. My favorite contour kit that is like a high-end brand is the Anastasia Beverly Hills one. As you can see, I freaking love this shade here, Banana, and I also love this shade and this shade and this shade. I also love this shade. Anyways, I love them all. Such a good contour kit. I like this one a little bit more than the Kat Von D one because it's not as powdery. Another little contour and highlight palette that I loved this year is by Charlotte Tilbury. It's definitely like my favorite little duo. It's called the Film Star Bronze and Glow Face Sculpting Highlight Bronzing whatever, and both the colors are just amazing. This color here is so good for contouring because it's that perfect kind of like cool toned bronzery color, like it's not super warm. And then this highlighter here is so beautiful. I'll swatch it for you. Like, it's one of my favorite highlighters of the year. I've used it so much. That's what it looks like. I also love using this on my eyes. Like, I'll use the shimmery color on my inner corner highlight, like brow bone highlight, and on my eyelid. And then I'll use this color in the crease, and it's so pretty and just such good quality. It's really expensive, but I love it so much. I recommend it to everyone. While we're on the topics of highlighters, I also love this color here. Not the palette, although this is like brand new, I haven't used it before. I just don't know where the individual highlighter I have is right now. I think it's packed away in my suitcase. But this does sell separately. It's by Laura Mercier, and it's called Highlight 01. It is such a beautiful like champagne kind of beige color. It's so reflective, even though they like market it as like matte or something. It's like got a really beautiful sheen to it. It's a lot more pink rather than gold, like the Charlotte Tilbury's more gold. It's so pretty, I love it so much. And then the last highlighter I'm gonna mention in this video, I've seriously loved so many highlighters this year, or last year I should say, but this was definitely like one of my top favorites as well. This is the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in Moonstone. So this is like one of the more pale ones. I don't know, I've just loved it. Everyone was raving about Opal, but I love Moonstone. It's like a white gold kind of color, and it's super intense as well, super opaque, like gives you that really intense highlighted look. For blush, I have 3 that I've loved this year. There's been a lot of other ones, but these ones have just really stood out to me. First, the Clinique Cheek Pop Blush Pop range. I've got so many of these, I've talked about a lot of them, but Melon Pop, which is the shade here, is my favorite. It's like the perfect pinky peachy color, and it's so bright, but it just seems to suit like every makeup look I do, like whether I'm doing something really bright, whether I'm doing something really neutral, cool tone, warm tone, like it just seems to like just go with everything. Next is this Makeup Store blush in Must Have. I used this so often this year. It's a matte blush, and it's just the perfect pinky peach color. It is so pretty, I love it so much. This is definitely way more opaque compared to the Clinique one, so depending what you like. But yeah, it's so pretty. I love it so much, and I got so much wear out of it. And then the last one is Illamasqua Disobey, and this is just the most beautiful warm tone blush. It looks so boring like this, I know, but once you put it on your face, it just warms up your face. I also love it in my crease to warm up my crease. It's the perfect color. I just blend it a little bit here. Like, it's the kind of product you'll never know how pretty it is until you just take the plunge and try it for yourself. It looks so boring and kind of ugly, but I promise you it is one of my favorite products ever. If you love a warm glow look, you'll like this. Going back to concealers, this is technically a concealer, but I use it to set my concealer. This is the Well Rested by Bare Minerals. It's an eye brightener, and I've used this in so many of my tutorials. It's basically a loose powder, and I use the tiniest amount, and it's super brightening, even on fair skin. It's kind of like a sheen, like it's not completely matte, so it really highlights and like catches the light. Oh, this is another highlighter product I wanted to mention. This is the MAC Pearl Cream Color Base. The thing I love about cream color bases by MAC is you can use them under or over powder. So I usually use these over top of my setting powder, and I usually layer a powder on top of this, but it also looks really pretty alone. I'll just swatch them on my hand. It is such a reflective product. It's so pretty. On my brows, I've loved Dirty Blonde by MAC. This is the Fluid Line Brow Gel Cream. I've used this so much, and as you can see, I've still got a ton left. The thing I like about this is it's not as hard to use as the brow pomades that like Anastasia Beverly Hills does and everything. Like, it's a lot more forgiving. I notice if I use too much brow pomade, my eyebrows look really like goopy and like chunky looking. However, with this, it's so hard to mess up, and it also doesn't dry out at all. My Anastasia Beverly Hills pomade, which I did love, it just dried out so fast and I couldn't recover it. It just went all gummy and yuck. However, this just looks so good. The color is amazing for me. It's slightly warm tone, which I prefer because I have warm undertones to my like lowlights in my hair, and also my natural hair color is very warm toned, so it suits me really, really well, and I just love it. I've just used it most days this year. Another MAC product, this is the Fluid Line in Black Track. It is just the black gel eyeliner, and I have loved this so much. I don't usually use it as like a winged eyeliner or whatever, although I have a few times and I love it for that. It doesn't transfer into my crease. A lot of them like transfer and rub into my crease throughout the day. This one stays put. But the reason I love it the most is because I use it in my tight line all the time, and it does not transfer to my waterline. I know with a lot of like pencils, you put them in your tight line and then it just ends up going on your waterline. And sometimes you want to use black in your tight line and then like white in your waterline or something. With this, like, it just stays put. It doesn't smudge and smear, and it just sets really well. My favorite liquid eyeliner is Thrashed. This is Schwing by The Balm. I just love this because it's matte, it's so easy to use, and the applicator is like my favorite. It's kind of like a foam brush tip. It's so flexible and it's just so easy to control. I loved so many eyeshadow palettes this year. I narrowed it down to my top 3. These 3 are like my ride or die. No matter what I do, I always return to these ones, and I used them a ton during this year or last year. The first one is the Lorac Pro palette, and this is what the colors look like. The colors are so pigmented and really easy to blend. I've used it in so many tutorials for you guys, so if you want to see a tutorial using this, just search XOXO Lorac Pro palette and a whole bunch of videos will come up. The thing I like about this is that there's a bunch of different neutrals. They're all quite different. So there's a lot of different neutral looks you can create with the one palette. Also, there is a whole line of mattes and a whole line of shimmery colors. So there's just so many different color combinations you can do, and all of the colors are amazing. Colors. That was a weird accent. This is the Naked Urban Decay palette. This is just the first one. It is my favorite. I've used it so much this year. I just keep returning to it. Like, I've had this for a while, like a few years I think. It's my favorite of all of the Urban Decay palettes there are. And then this one is discontinued, but I still had to mention it because it is my favorite palette ever. This is my favorite palette of the year out of any palette. Like, even those last 2 I just showed you, this is my favorite. This is my baby. This is the Amrezy palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills. The reason I love it so much is because of these 3 shades and the shade and the shade. And I think you can buy them separately by Anastasia Beverly Hills, and she does re-put them in other palettes as well, so I thought I would show you this. If you do want to just Google search the Amrezy Anastasia Beverly Hills palette, you'll be able to see all the colors and like find them in the other palettes, if that makes sense. Because this color here has been my favorite color of the year of any eyeshadow I own. It's called Caramel, and if I'm ever wearing a warm tone brown like all over my eyelid and in my crease, that's probably it. The next shade across is called Morocco, and it's just a little bit darker and more like reddish. I love that for the same reason, and these colors just make my hazel eyes pop. And then this color here is just so beautiful. It's called Deep Plum. Exactly what you would think. It's like a deep plum color. So pretty. I just love this palette. Some more eyeshadows that I absolutely love are by Ardency In. These are probably my favorite pressed pigmenty kind of products this year. They're called the Manuka Honey Enriched Pigments, and this one here is in the shade Copper. It's so pretty. And then this one here is in the shade Orchid. And I do think I own all of the colors, and there's not one of them that I dislike. I just showed you these 2 because I just randomly picked them out and I really like them. Just so you can see how pigmented they are incredible. This one here is a little bit more sheer because it's like a duochrome and you kind of build it up. This one here is just straight up like amazing and buttery. All of the colors are so pigmented and beautiful, and I just love them so much. Definitely check them out if you like bright eyeshadows and like really good quality eyeshadows. My favorite loose pigment is MAC Tan. It looks so boring, but it's just the most beautiful color. I love it on fair skin up to dark skin. Like, no matter what skin tone you have, it just looks so pretty, and it kind of transforms on everyone. On me, it's almost like a rose gold kind of tan color. It's so pretty and reflective. Sorry, my swatches suck. And yes, I cut myself. I don't know how. I've used this in a bunch of tutorials as well, so same thing, you can search it on YouTube, XOXO Tan Pigment or something. And one more thing, this is the Stila Magnificent Metal and Kitten. I did mention a cheap dupe on my drugstore favorites video, so go check that out because I actually prefer the drugstore one a little bit more. but it would have been unfair not to mention this because I still used this so many times this year. As you can see, I've gone through quite a lot of it. Basically, it's just an incredibly pigmented, like metallic foiled eyeshadow, and it just catches the light so prettily. Prettily? Is that a word? One more product before I move on to the bunch of lipsticks and lip glosses and stuff. This is the Urban Decay Chill Makeup Setting Spray. Just a really good setting spray for people that like dewy skin. It's really hydrating and it kind of like refreshes your skin when you spray it. Like it's really refreshing and hydrating. It also helps to soak up excess powders, like I said with the Smashbox one. You can also use it before your makeup. I don't know, it just means what you want. Like this one is a lot more like glowy and dewy, whereas this one just looks like nothing. For lipsticks, I have so many. I'm just gonna randomly show you. I'll start with liquid lipsticks because that's what I've grabbed. So first of all, the Too Faced melted lipsticks. I do have a lip swatch video, which I'll link down below. This one here is in melted frosting, and I just love all of them, like all of the shades. I'm not really a fan of the metallic ones though. I prefer just the creamy ones. They're super opaque. I love this color. It's so pretty. And there's just so many different colors. I really love the nude one. There's a hot pink. I think it's called Melted Fuchsia. I love. Like there's so many different colors. They're so amazing and they just feel so good on my lips and they last for a really long time, so I love them. I love the Dose of Colors liquid lipsticks. This color in particular, this is called Stone, and every single time I wore this, like I got so many compliments. It's such a pretty kind of like deep berry nude, I would say. It's such a unique color and I just love wearing it. Some more liquid lipsticks, the Jeffree Star range. These are the Velour liquid lipsticks. My favorite one is I'm Nude, but this is my second favorite. This is called Prom Night. Basically just the best hot pink ever. It's like amazing. I've talked about this quite a few times in my videos. I love it. It's such like, I can't even describe. The formula of these is so comfortable to wear. Like they dry really dry and matte looking, but they just don't feel heavy. They don't feel crusty. I love them and the packaging is so cute as well. I do have a lip swatch video, which I'll link down below. And then the last liquid lipstick, this is the Sephora Luster Matte Longwear lip color. This is one of my favorite shades. I also love the other pink one. I can't remember what it's called, but this is Pink Flush Luster. These are so pretty. They don't dry completely matte. They kind of dry to like a satin kind of matte finish. So that's what it looks like there. I love this. It kind of like stains your lips a little bit and lasts a really, really long time. A lip liner quickly. This is definitely like my favorite lip liner that's high end of 2015. This is the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Pencil in Stark Naked, and it's the perfect kind of greyish colour. I know that whole like dark nude thing was like a total massive hit during 2015, and I still love this colour. I wear it alone or underneath the nude, and I love these because they're so creamy. They don't drag on my lips like some lip liners. They don't feel like drying or anything. I love these. A couple of lip glosses. This lip gloss here is one of my favourites of the year. This is Creamsicle by Buxom. The reason I love these so much, well, one, because of the colour. It's such a pretty like peachy colour. I'll swatch it quickly. That's it up the top. They've got a really nice amount of pigmentation. I love the other colours too, but this one is my fave. The reason I love them so much is they're super glossy and they've got like a peppermint tingle. They kind of plump up your lips a little bit, but they don't hurt at all. Then the other lip glosses I loved this year were the Smashbox lip lacquers. You would have seen me use a few different kinds in my tutorials. I did an actual like video where I worked with Smashbox, which was super cool. They're super pigmented and so glossy. Like they are like pleather on your lips, but they don't bleed and they last so long. They last like a liquid lipstick, but they're glossy. They're so good. I have to do a lip swatch video one day. This is kind of like a lip pencil, I guess. It's like a lip crayon thing. These are the Buxom True Lip Foundation pencils. I've got like all of them and I love all of them. They're all really pretty colors. This particular one is called Undressed, and they're basically like an automatic pencil and they are matte, but they do not dry out your lips at all, and they're the perfect nudes for any skin tone, or if you're like me and you just like wearing different shades of nude, like dark nudes, pale nudes, whatever. You can see how easy they draw on. This color is so pretty. Then I have 3 lipsticks which stood out to me while I was choosing my favorites. Obviously, I have loved tons of different lipsticks this year, but these 3 are just some of my favorites. So first off is Pure Zen by MAC. I do have little clear lids on my MAC lipsticks just so I can see them all because I have a lot, as you can see. This shade here is called Pure Zen. It is a cream sheen and it has just been my go-to nude lipstick if I'm just chucking something on. This is what it looks like. It is so pretty. It's got a really nice finish. It's like the perfect peachy pinky nude color. It doesn't wash me out. It just looks perfect every time. Next is a darker pinky nude. As you can see, I have used so much of this. Like, this is literally from like this year. I love this. This is Pink Dusk by Tom Ford. Super expensive, but the color is like phenomenal. That's what it looks like. It is so beautiful. I cannot get over it. It is just Then the last product I'm sharing with you today, this is the Rouge Pure Couture by YSL in number 13. Look at that color, it's so pretty. It suits people with warm undertones so well. Like everyone I see that has a warm undertone, I'm like, you should buy this lipstick. And it looks so good on every skin tone. And no matter if you're super fair or dark, it just looks so beautiful and radiant and bright. This is actually the color I think Kourtney Kardashian wears, so I love it. I've also done a lip swatch video on these as well, so I'll link it down below. So as you can see, I had a bunch of high-end favorites. As I said in the beginning, this is not every single favorite product like of this year that is high-end. Like there is so much more stuff that I love. These are just like my top picks that kind of stood out to me. Let me know down below what your favorite product of 2015 was that's high-end. Make sure you check out my drugstore favorites if you are keen to. I'll put a link down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope it was helpful and entertaining, and I will talk to you guys really soon. Bye! Favorite primer. This is the Maybelline Master Prime. This is the Blur and Smooth one, but I also really like the Blur and Illuminate one, I think it's called. But I use this one a little bit more often, but I really like this. I think it's very comparable to like the Makeup Forever one.